all right. I also thought that was an entertaining story, so all kinds of reality has been shattered for me.
The ending lands it. I'll say that.
Welcome to Then You Ruined It, a podcast where two dorks try not to make a simple conversation weird and fail every time.
Jason, it's my birthday,
I know now. I wrote down my calendar and everything.
so I want a present. And that present is we are finally going to do the Tick in Bad Places episode.
Okay.
I have been teasing for years both my Tick in Bad Places story and your Tick in a Bad Place story. So as I am a selfless man, I first give it to you. Tell everyone about your tick and your ding dong.
I mean, you've pretty much told the story. I was so young, I don't really remember it that well. My mom will tell it a certain way and say what we were out camping and as a family. And again, I was young, 6 or 7, maybe. So we were out camping and I'd gone to the bathroom, went out to the bathroom and, you're camping. So didn't bother going to official bathroom, just peed in the woods and, got a bug on me. And it was, something that unusual. And I again, this is spotty because I'm going on what I've been told happened because I don't remember it really. And, yeah, I came back and, I guess it was probably still just hanging out to some degree. I don't know. It was to show people what was going on. Luckily, it was just me and my parents and I assume brother, probably. This is all above board. We're a family.
No, yes, but put your wiener away.
Well, but in this case, there's something wrong with it and I need somebody to help me.
But there's still the transitionatory period.
I mean,
your wiener needs to be covered in transit. That's just the rule.
Unless, again, there's something wrong, in which case don't mess with this and go seek advice or seek counsel or I don't know. So I do think that I'd seen something. Is it Stand By Me, the one where they go swimming in the lake and they all come out with leeches on them?
Probably. That sounds like a Stand By Me thing.
Not seen the entire movie, but I know enough about it. And I've seen like that scene. So I think that's what it was. I thought it was like a leech. And so I was like, I've seen it. Get this off me. And,
you were watching Stand By Me at 7?
Maybe. I don't, again, all this is spotty haziness. I don't remember exactly what happened. So I have to go on what my parents have told me. So my parents both smoked at the time. And, so I think my dad probably had a lit cigarette at the time and said, well, here's how you get ticks out. You take the hot end of a cigarette and burn it off. And again, I'm told that's exactly what he did. So my dad put a lit cigarette on my penis.
And did it work?
I'm sure, because I don't have it there anymore. So
then it wasn't a tick. Because I have a story that challenges the science of your story. It might have been a leech. Because according to my leech reference movie, Congo, that's how you get rid of a leech.
I need to rewatch Congo. My wife's been talking about watching it, and I'm just like, I would watch that with you because that is a terrible movie.
Yeah, well,
I'd be happy to watch with you.
I never believed we were in a simulation until right now. There's no way two people are going to recommend Congo at the same time. Movie's not worth watching. Anyway, so how you get rid of a tick is you definitely don't do that because they'll die inside your body and you have to rip them out and the head will stay in. And that's how you get Lyme disease. Do you have Lyme disease or a tick's head in your penile region?
I mean, it would explain a lot, but like what has made me a skilled lover is the fact that I actually have Lyme disease in my penis.
You're not so much ribbed for her pleasure, but you have a nice little extra bump there.
Didn't even know it. I thought all guys had that.
We all got 2 heads, right?
I thought that's what you meant when you said circumcised. I've been way off for a while. You guys don't have one of these? Whoa.
All right. So, I'm going to lay some truth on you here, Jason. Can't burn off a tick. It will die inside, and it won't come out, and it will spread diseases. At least, this is what I've taught, and this is what I've observed. The way that you get them out is you can hold a match close to them and not zap them, because then they get hot and freak out, and then they dislodge and then run away. So he might have waved a lit cigarette near your penis.
Which is somehow worse.
So like that's what they always taught us in Scouts is you'll get a match, you get a lighter, you hold it close to them, and then they'll let go. Or you could take peanut butter and smear it all over the area, and that'll cover all the pores so they can't breathe, and then they pull out, and then you flick them away.
Mine was on my penis, so when you say pull out, I'm just like, oh.
Then you just be like walking around with peanut butter on your wang for the next 40
seriously.
years.
The rest of the camping trip, I just keep saying, guys, remember penis butter? And it's like, just shut up and get your thing out of the peanut butter.
Worst American Pie remake ever.
Not gonna go into too lewd and lascivious of details, but peanut butter is definitely not what I would compare it to.
All right. So, and like I said, I've also learned this from observation. So let me tell you my tick in a bad place story. As you will remember, I grew up in Idaho. That's where I did things. And in Idaho, we camped. We camped a lot because there's a lot of Idaho and not a lot in it. So you camp. And this time we're doing a 50-mile hike. So we had hiked for the whole week. We'd hike between 10 and 12 miles a day, and then would make camp with all the stuff we were carrying with us. The final day of the hike, we had actually traipsed through a lot of sagebrush. Now, sagebrush is the number one place you'll get ticks. So if you're ever playing in sagebrush, around sagebrush, working around sagebrush, you do the quick check, which for me is armpit, lift, and glance. And that's it, because those are the places they like to go. They like dark, moist areas, and no part of a teenage Idahoan is more dark and moist than the arm and leg pits.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant balls.
Yeah, you lift the balls and you look underneath them.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
This is important.
I assume that's what you meant, and then you made it sound like, no, it's legs. What do you think, you pervert? I thought you just lifted your balls. Oh, you did lift your balls. Okay.
Back on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, balls. Good. Okay, we're good.
So we were getting ready to go to bed that night, and the Scoutmaster's like, okay, remember we need to check ourselves out for ticks. So get my sleeping bag, got my two friends in the tent, and I left pit, right pit, check the taint. Ain't no ticks, ain't no problem. Going to bed. Well, my friend Jake was sleeping in the middle, and I noticed that Jake was very, very concerned about ticks because he was going over each and every square inch of his body very meticulously looking for ticks. Like, a tick is a pretty decent sized bug. You're not going to miss it. It's not like a nit or lice. You don't need to part the pubes or anything to look for these things. They're pretty big. So he's going over and he's checking. And I'm like, this is taking too long. I'm going to bed. A few minutes later, I hear, Steve, there's a tick on my neck. I'm like, no, Jake, there's no tick on your neck. Go to bed. He's like, dude, you gotta check. There's a tick on my neck. Fine. I will look at the back of your neck. Take my flashlight, turn it on, look at the back of his neck. And I'm like, dude, that's a zit. Go to bed. He's like, oh, okay. A couple minutes later. Steve, there's a tick on my shoulder. You gotta check. There's a tick on my shoulder. No, Jake, there's no tick on your shoulder. Go to bed. You gotta check. I swear, there's a tick on my shoulder. For real this time. Fine. Let me check. And so, turn my flashlight, look at his shoulder. It's just like a big old chunk of dirt or something. I don't know. You know how you get dirty and there's just scabs? It's probably a scab. We'll say it's a scab. Just a scab on his shoulder. It's nothing, Jake. Go to bed. A few minutes later. Steve, there's a tick on my back. There's a tick on my back. I will check, Jake, but I swear this is the last time. He lifts up his shirt, turn on my flashlight, look around. It was a mole. Like, dude, it's probably been there forever. Pay more attention to your back. Go to sleep. A couple minutes later. Steve! No, Jake, no. No, Steve, really, there's a tick on my butt. There's a tick on my butt. I swear I heard him start to cry. It's like, Steve, I'm going to get Lyme disease and I'm going to die. You need to look at my butt. And I'm like, no one in the history of the planet has said that, and no one has died from me not looking at their butt. Go to bed. So after a good 3-4 minutes of incessant begging, I finally relent. I'm like, okay, Jake, drop them. Sure enough, right on the left butt cheek, big old tick. I'm like, get it off, get it off, get it off. He's like, I don't know where it is. You get it off. I'm like, nope, not my job. So I went and I got our Scoutmaster. Now, our Scoutmaster was a oral surgeon by day. And so when he became a Scoutmaster, he's like, I'm going to be prepared for all the medical stuff. So he bought an EMT emergency kit. You know, those like big old tackle boxes that the EMTs have? He bought one of those. And he apparently didn't know the correct way to remove a tick. He didn't know that heat was involved. So he took a scalpel and a lighter, and he got the lighter nice and hot, and then snapped that thing right on the butt, killing it, and like I said, leaving it in Jake's butt. And he's like, oh, I can't pull this off. The head will pop in there, and he'll get Lyme disease. And he's like, what do I do? Well, I've got this recently sterilized scalpel. Jake, bite onto something. And he, with me providing the light, cut a chunk of butt flesh out of my friend as tears streamed down his face. And I that's justice. This is why I believe in God. Because if you make someone look at your butt, you get a chunk of it cut out by a guy who doesn't know what he's doing.
Being a believer myself, often that question comes up of like, what made you a believer? Like what comes to you when you think this is why I believe in God? If you tell that story, A, they're going to leave before it's over. Cut out some of the slapping and some of the check this part. And also, no, I don't think they're going to believe you think that's why God exists. But also, oh my God. To go from so prepared he has the actual tackle box himself to, well, I guess I have to cut a section of this boy's butt off to get the tick. My dad had no training as a surgeon or a scoutmaster or any of that. And yet his quick thinking saved my penis. This young man lost a chunk of himself forever.
Your butt regenerates.
It does not. You're not a damn lizard. I'm guessing he still has a small but noticeable chunk of ass missing that he has to explain to every partner. He tells the story, and before they can actually get to sex, they fall asleep because it's so long.
It's compelling, and you know it. You were clinging on my every word.
I was not. I have to be here. I'm recording a thing, so I couldn't just fall asleep. I couldn't do something else. But by the time we got to actually took a section of his butt, that's malpractice. Yes, he's a practicing doctor, so he knows what that means, and he knows better. Bite down on something. This has to happen now. I would have run. I would have run out of that tent. Nope, this tick and I are friends now, and we're going to be BFFs.
Butt friends forever?
Yes, in this case, yes. Every time I sit on it, I'll think.
It made sense to me. It made sense to all of us in the moment.
You know who it did make sense to? Jake.
Jake made me look at his butt. Jake gets what he deserves.
I mean, if you're a good friend, you're going to look at somebody's butt.
If you're a good friend, you won't ask somebody to look at your butt.
Disagree. That is where we differ.
Okay, so if I had a weird growth on my butt, you'd want me to bring it to the podcast.
I mean, I'd take a look. I don't want you to bring it. No, I don't want to make that like the only element of our friendship, but I would take a look.
It's not going to be the new format of the new season. What's growing on Steve?
I mean, unless we actually add video, it's not me describing a growth on your ass. I don't think that's compelling content.
Seriously, Jason, you ruined it. If you want to express your displeasure with him, me, or the show in general, you can find us on Twitter. I am at Idahobo, and Jason is at the Jason Sigler. We also do a webcomics review podcast called Digital Strips.